All right. Okay, we're 2 minutes in. I think we're going to get started. Okay, I think people can hear me because I've got a very active chat channel. So let's kick it off. Thank you guys for joining us today. I just want to give a shout out quick. We put this webinar on the calendar for a whole hour. We're going to try our best to stick to a half hour so we can leave some time for answering questions during and after. So make sure you stick around for the whole session. We've got a lot to talk about in 30 minutes. So, all right, well, we all know that social media can be overwhelming. Like, how do you navigate all the different networks? What content do you post? Not to mention, like, the networks are always changing, i.e. Facebook is now called Meta, right? So we're here to assist you as you plan out your year so you can stay stress-free and make sure you have all the right knowledge. So we've got our marketing team on here. We're going to do intros in a second, but they work really hard to stay up to speed on all things social so that we can give you guys, our customers, everything that you need to grow and connect using Denim Social. So a few things before we get kicked off. We're going to answer questions again throughout the call and at the end, but make sure you're not being shy. We're going to check the chat. I see a red bubble on there right now. Throughout the call, make sure you're asking whatever's on your mind. We also have a few polls to kick us off. They're going to pop up on your screen in just a few minutes. So make sure you're voting and submitting your ideas there. And then lastly, as always, we will have a resource available after the call that's going to bring all these ideas together. You can reference it later, and we'll send that out in a link in an email later along with the recording of the webinar. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. There's me. Let's introduce ourselves. So a lot of you might know me, a lot of you might not. My name is Taylor Hanson, Director of Customer Experience here at Denim Social. You might know me as Taylor Gaffney, just recently got married, so that's the name change there. If you see a weird person named Taylor Hanson coming across your inbox. I work with our customers to help them maximize the use of Denim Social and just their social strategies overall.
And I'm Connor Phillips. I am the marketing manager for Denim Social. I run our team's social media pages and assist the team with any marketing needs that they might have. And you can feel free to reach out to us with anything you need for the platform. And with that, we'll get started and let you guys test your social media knowledge.
All right, y'all, so this is where that poll is going to come up across your screen. Connor's going to push that button and it's going to ask, what percentage of customers report using social networks to discover new brands? All right, so take your vote. You're going to have about 20 seconds to submit it. Thank you for the congratulations, Krissa. 55 degrees, high 70. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. All right, do we have the answer, Connor? Or do we have the results? Oh, nice. All right, about almost half of you guys were right. Good job. Cool, we've got another one. If my computer will work. What percent of brands are going to increase their spend on social media in the next 3 years? We're going to give you a few more seconds for that. And 3 seconds left. All right, how many of you guessed 91? Ooh, all right, guys. 14% of you guys guessed 91%. So 91%, the majority of brands are going to increase their spend on social. Crazy, right? Almost everybody. All right, last question. How many active users are on social media on all platforms every month? So how many active users across all platforms in the US every month? Okay, a few seconds left. All right, we got a winner. Everybody knew the answer to that. Good job. It's crazy, right? Everybody uses social media. Not everybody, but there's so much opportunity out there with 240 million people active on social media.
Yeah, and you guys did pretty good. And I know some of these figures are surprising, but hopefully what you take away from this is how important using social media is to driving your business forward, connecting and engaging with customers, and creating just an overall better awareness of your brand online.
Totally. I know for a lot of customers and especially financial services, social media might seem a little bit frivolous or, extra, but digital media is where we are and where we're going to keep heading. And it's going to continue to grow in importance for marketing efforts, especially as a lot of young people come of age and start to use these channels even more. So Connor, can you go into a little bit more detail around the different ways social media can help all of our customers here achieve their professional and brand goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first one really is building relationships. So that's going to be a really key use of social media. And in the financial industry, when it comes to money, everybody wants to deal with someone that they know and trust, especially during a time where maybe you're not necessarily meeting people in person. Social media can really help you to build up that trust.
Mhm.
And then, second, you can highlight your brand purpose and build community online.
Yes.
So we see all the time, consumers really expect and hope that brands are going to use these social channels to facilitate that sense of community and offer the support that they need.
Totally.
Yeah. Third, humanize your brand. So people want to deal with trusted financial experts in person and online, but that doesn't mean they want who they're working with to be clinical or cold or unfeeling.
Mhm.
So social media is a fun opportunity for you to just add a little humanness to your brand.
Mhm.
And don't overlook the ability to gain industry and customer insights. Social media is a really good research tool. For the financial services industry, you can use social media to listen to your customers. You can learn what competitors are doing and just keep up with your industry in general. Yeah. And then lastly, it'll help you reduce efforts and cost. So efforts on social media really work best when teams, departments, and all the individuals in an organization use it in a coordinated way. So Denim Social, having a management platform like that, having a content library available with resources, and just giving this kind of access to everyone, and especially having the compliance element, you can have a peace of mind. You're posting consistently and supporting your overall strategic goals.
Totally. Yeah, that makes so much sense. So it sounds like overall, people are looking for brands and professional users on social media, whether they really know it or not, to find inspiration and experiences and even just something to relate to, like looking for honest and real and valuable content, and then something to engage with, right? So it's important to provide that channel. It's also important to remember that each network is different. And there's some things we're going to go through on the next few slides that Connor will talk about how we can capitalize on each network. All righty, so the first one and kind of the social powerhouse is Facebook. This is kind of like the OG social network. It has the most active users by far. There's some recent news that they're, of course, now going by Meta. And a lot of you might be saying, well, something that like my mom and my grandma use a lot. but it's not just your mom's network. Its largest demographic is actually the millennial group. So that's probably a big target market for the majority of you, if not all of you. So Connor, will you tell us some of the new updates happening with Facebook?
Yeah, and you are right. It is still very much a relevant network to be active on. So in general, Facebook is a great place to share information about your business, products, services. And there can be a lot to go through for Facebook, especially with all the changes it's undergone recently. But here we've just pulled out some of the most relevant points for our customers and how you can use these features going forward.
Okay.
So just to start looking ahead, you can expect some algorithm changes. And I know the mysterious algorithm can cause like undue stress for many social users, but I think we'll find some positive changes here. Facebook is really going to try to reduce the amount of political content that appears in feeds. And it's even going to give users the option to switch off that intelligent technology that usually, fills up their feed with content that it thinks they'll like. So hopefully it'll be more of what users want to see. And we like that the control is being handed back to those users.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be great for Denim social users. They'll really be able to trust that their content is better targeted. And I think it seems like the important thing to do here is to make sure that you're consistent and you're scheduling out content so that your followers are seeing it and just know what to expect from you.
Definitely. If you're not using audio and video elements yet, it's definitely time to get started. Video content gets way more engagement than any of the static content does. And that's really going to be the norm for all of these networks, as we're going to see. And something just to keep in mind with video is when people are consuming it, it's often on mobile. And a lot of times their phones are on silent. So it's really good to make sure that the video can still be understood and consumed without being able to hear any audio. So it's good to have both elements in there.
I totally agree with that. I am definitely one of those users that doesn't ever use any sound on mine. So subtitles. So something fun, just an idea that I've seen a lot of our customers do with videos are like introductory, like introduce your team, announce product launches, even post about events. Like if you have regional teams that are doing events, post about those. And it doesn't even need to be professionally edited, but it's going to add a lot of value to your posts. So make sure you're sprinkling those videos into your content mix to keep things fresh. And always remember the subtitles for the people like me that keep our phones silent and watch videos.
Exactly. I do the same thing, Taylor. All right, analytics. So when you put that content out there, do you know how it's doing or who you're reaching? You've really got to make sure you're keeping an eye on those social stats. So each platform might have different results for a given piece of content, and being able to differentiate how those do and perform is only possible if you're paying close attention to your analytics. So Taylor, can you maybe tell everybody a little more about what's to come for Denim Social customers?
Yeah, so we have an analytics tool underway launching this year, which is huge news for all of our users. It's going to include a ton of different options for slicing and dicing data. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, you should definitely still be checking your performance at least monthly. Make sure you're keeping an eye on your reach, so how many people you've reached, engagement, and some other feedback. And after a few months of doing that, you'll be able to be more confident in your strategy going forward.
Yeah, definitely some exciting things to come. All right, so the final thing we wanted to point out for Facebook is advertising. Facebook will allow users to access a lot more tools for ad efficacy, and you can run campaigns for longer based on how the audience responds to what you put out. And we can apply that video content here as well. It's a good idea to mix up your ads by maybe putting some video in there to see if it makes a difference in your analytics. And definitely don't be afraid to try new things. That's really the key to social, especially in advertising. You can always pivot anytime you need to.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, so just to sum up, Facebook will continue to be more intuitive. We'll see more engaging content really, take the stage here. There will be more ways to check your performance and progress, and hopefully overall, just more opportunities for you to get really creative with what you're posting on there.
Awesome. All right, we're going to keep her moving. Let's talk about the professional network, LinkedIn. And this is so important for the financial services industry because this is going to be home to customers, businesses, prospective employees. So Connor, tell us a little bit more about the trends coming on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's, another huge network, 260 million active monthly users. And it's an especially great place to find young people. The millennials are super active on LinkedIn. They're doing things. Everybody wants to grow their connections. So putting quality content here is very important. And your LinkedIn content will tend to be a little bit more polished and professional. So with that, let's get to some updates. We all know work from home is becoming a lot more of the norm. And so just naturally hiring and career features are going to continue to do the same. And LinkedIn is rolling out some really neat new updates that are going to allow employers to connect with prospects, interview them, even send video messages all within the network.
Yeah, totally. I know, again, I'm going to talk about these introduction videos, but on the flip side, for businesses, introductory or culture videos will be great for that so that potential employees can get more realistic insight into what your company is all about.
Yeah, and building on that, video capabilities, we'll continue to wax poetically about using video on social. And since so much work is remote and is going to continue to be so, LinkedIn is going to be a really valuable resource. And you can also think of it as an instruction manual, kind of.
Yeah, totally. Like posting product and service features, educational videos, how-tos. Always just adding value for your audience. So if you're an expert in something, give your audience a short lesson and leave them wanting more.
Definitely. Businesses also are going to continue to benefit from updates here. Algorithms will be changing a bit. So what users see in their feed should better align with their actual careers, their interests, who and what they follow on LinkedIn. And it should help you all connect with your target audience and get new customers and maybe employees. So some of these analytics features that are coming will also allow you to check how your actual followers and connections and their demographics compare to who you're intending to target. So you might find the need to change up your ads or your content a little, but it'll all be a lot easier on here.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think something that you said earlier to me before the webinar was make sure you try to see content through your audience's eyes. Whether that be, if you create a buyer persona, like who should your customers be? What are they interested in? Are they going to be interested in the content you're currently posting?
Yeah, that's really great advice, Taylor. So to wrap up here for LinkedIn, you can't just be reactive when you post and leave it out there. You've got to really engage as well. So you can interact with industry content, with things that might be relevant to your brand or your customers. And then as you become more and more active, this will also give your algorithm a boost and get your content and connections where they really need to be. And you can also post content that people can engage with. So think maybe polls, conversations, ways to start people talking. And it just gives your audience something to do rather than just something to look at.
Yes, 100%. Love all of that. Connor, now I'm going to keep us moving along to Twitter, which admittedly is a hard one for me. Tell us more about what's going on with Twitter.
Yeah, so Twitter's a little different than other social networks. It's become very much a place for information and conversation. And like LinkedIn, it does tend to be a little bit more professional, but more in a free conversation way rather than just putting out educational or purely informational content. And on Twitter, especially, hashtags can be key to following the right conversations or threads. And this can help position your business on Twitter a little bit better. And you can always follow industry news here by keeping up to speed on what people are chatting about and whatever's trending.
Awesome.
All right. So one important update is going to be user timelines. So we're going to see a shift to a more chronological feed, so a little bit less dependent on the algorithm. So you kind of see what you want to and what those people you're following actually post as they post it in real time. So here at Denim Social, we have a little recommendation system for your posting strategy to come.
Yes, I'm pumped about that. The marketing team has been working hard to put together a fresh new posting strategy that you all can leverage. So we're going to go over that in a few minutes. Get excited. It's going to help, I think, refresh your content mix.
Absolutely. And speaking of content, even Twitter isn't immune to the power of video, though it's going to be a little bit less important on here than maybe your more visual networks like Instagram. Twitter fleets, if anyone used those before, they were temporary videos that appeared at the tops of news feeds for people. Those are no longer, but we will start to see more like full screen short videos on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah, again, introductory videos of your team, product information or demos. Sounds like possibilities are kind of endless.
Definitely. And the full screen option will allow you to post things maybe in greater detail that wouldn't be as appropriate for, say, an Instagram story or a LinkedIn feature, something like that. But, for professionals too, Twitter Blue is going to be the business suite for this network. So it'll add some functionality specifically for businesses. And this might include longer tweets, being able to read things in an article mode, and just overall more user-friendly for professionals on Twitter trying to be really intentional about what they're posting.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Something that comes to mind is make sure all of your information is up to date on your profile, including address, contact info, pictures, and just making sure everything's renewed regularly. And keep it fun, but always keep in mind that it's important to make a good impression for anybody that comes across your profile.
Yep. And as we see more video, more threads and conversations, engagement is going to be even more important. So try joining in on some conversations in your industry. You can, again, use those polls or threads and try to think of some exciting topics that would get your followers or connections talking. Okay. And then as you do some deep diving into the network, you can kind of see where value could be added, where there might be some gaps and what you could contribute there. Maybe what people are talking about, not doing. It's just really what you make of it here on Twitter.
Awesome. Okay, maybe on board the Twitter train, but probably not, because I still love Instagram. This is my favorite. Tell us more about Instagram.
Yeah, I think we all know it and love it. It's really second only to Facebook. It's super popular network. It's very visual, very interactive, very user-friendly. And it's really the place to be for branding, for getting your image across. And kind of like Facebook, maybe at first it doesn't seem like a natural home for a mortgage company or a bank or an insurance agency, but definitely rethink that.
Yeah, it seems like out of all the networks we've talked about yet today, this has definitely got the most potential for those younger audiences, for like just reaching them and engaging with them. So all those people on today, if you're not on Instagram, highly recommend it. What else is going on?
So what's new with Instagram? The first thing is format changes. So this is probably something you've noticed with the other networks, but you can really expect changes to what you see when you open the app. So the chronological timeline is coming back here as well. So hopefully no more seeing posts from like 4 days ago pop up first thing. Right. Yeah. And coming soon, we could very well see a timeline that's exclusively stories rather than just those typical static posts. So lots, in the works for Instagram. The algorithm is still there, and you can count on it prioritizing fun, engaging video, and that will help get you on your user feeds and then those For You pages to be discovered as well.
Right. Yeah. And before we get too deep into all of those different formats, just a reminder to folks about stories. Instagram has some weird policies around third parties like Denim Social publishing directly to stories or reels. So just make sure if you want to post to one of those formats, make sure you're working with your compliance team to ensure that content is approved before posting. And then for all content on Instagram, just make sure you're putting your best brand foot forward. Fun holiday graphics or videos. Again, we love videos, or just even local events that showcase what your brand stands for, because that's the most engaging content.
Yeah, and video is not going anywhere. You can do short form, long form. Instagram is going to have it all. There will be some added functions for stories and reels, more editing capabilities. And then, as we mentioned before, it should always be understood without sound. And a good place to start if making a video seems kind of overwhelming is just adding something in addition to whatever story or video, just something to complement whatever your normal post would be.
Yeah, totally. I want to go back to, because I had said it's a great way to target younger generations, but it isn't just for teenagers. There's also the professional dashboard for businesses. So one thing to point out is the location-based services, which has the maps feature that allows you to see who's in your local area. So really helps with competitor research and even scouting out some customers.
Yeah. And then, we'll end this with engagement. I think Instagram is the best place to let your fun side show, add personality and that human element to your brand. Because here you can really do both. You can have a curated grid on your profile, very professional, and then sprinkle in some fun stories or engage with your followers or industry posts. And another great thing Instagram has done is getting rid of that kind of exclusive swipe up feature on stories.
Yeah, where you used to have like 10,000 followers to get the feature, right? The link.
Yeah, you had to, have a certain status on there, but now there's a little link sticker function that anyone can use. And you can use that to link to your website, your blog, or any resource that you might want to direct your followers to. And studies show that when people open Instagram, they really go straight to stories. So don't underestimate the power there. And hopefully, if they see your story, they'll click on your profile, go to your post or information, or follow a link if you put it on there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so just a few more post ideas here. If you feel kind of stuck with Instagram, carousel posts. So taking one post and including like multiple pictures in the one static post. That's really easy to engage with and share. You could maybe do like a step-by-step guide or personalized recommendations. You can always also add keywords to your username or to your bio just to help improve your visibility. And then something that is, kind of in the rumors is that users might soon be able to rearrange the order of their posts, how they appear in their grids. So that might be something to get creative with here in the near future.
Wow, really fun. I love that. I love Instagram. I think Instagram, along with LinkedIn especially, are going to be so key for financial services companies over the next few years. All right, we're going to keep her moving.
All right, so now that we've broken down some stuff by network, we will give you some overall takeaways. And it's okay if you can't always create a unique post for every network, but there are some guidelines you can follow just to make sure whatever piece of content you put out will be successful regardless of the network you're using. And we wanted you to take away some major points and apply them to all of your posting and all of your content. All right, so let's look at video and audio one more time. Fun fact that digital video consumption has actually quadrupled to like 4 hours a day since
Wow.
before the pandemic began.
Oh,
Yeah. So bringing your content to life in this way, customers are really going to see it and feel that they know who you are and hopefully add that connection online. And when it comes to video, short versus long form, short form has the power to get a message across quickly and often creatively just because of the time limit. And this can help you reach more people and maybe drive some sales there. And then with that longer form video, you can build up your brand, go up all the way to like 10 minutes, and you can really use this for powerful storytelling.
yeah, totally. Video is huge. And with it being so popular, you might be wondering, where's TikTok? Why isn't TikTok in here? And, we didn't forget about it. We know it's important. They're super strict with their integrations. Currently don't allow third-party social media management tools like Denim Social to connect to them yet. However, our marketing team is awesome and they are hard at work pulling together some materials on how to best utilize TikTok, all while staying compliant. So just remember, down the line, we'll have some more resources for you guys. We might even have a webinar about it that you can reference for TikTok. So Connor, continue on.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll hit advertising next. People are on their phones more. Mobile ad spending saw a lot of growth last year. This is definitely going to continue. And people are actually now spending more time on their phones than watching TV. So it might seem easy to just cast a wide net out there and hope for the best. But the best thing to do is look at your target audience and see if you can shift some stuff around to get better traction on your advertisements. Try using those location services. Think about your immediate community, what competitors are doing. But luckily, Denim Social has great features with ads to take some of that stress off of you.
Yeah, our advertising tool, it allows you to scale ad campaigns on behalf of hundreds of users. So you don't have to create single campaigns for every single user within Facebook Ads Manager. We also have a personalized landing page with a lead form that those ads can be directed to. We did have a separate webinar that we kind of went into that in November, I believe. So you can check that out. If you have any other questions, you can ask me or anybody else on the team, Connor as well, about how you can scale ads.
Yeah. All right, so communities, these are going to continue to develop online. So think more groups, more unifying factors that are going to draw people together in this digital space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, groups are always a weird one for financial services. They're a little tricky because of compliance. So you've got to partner with your compliance team to make sure that everything you're doing out in groups is compliant. They won't let you create a group for your business, but what are some other ways you can make your customers feel that sense of community, making sure that you're nurturing them, making sure that they feel that relationship with you?
Yeah, exactly. And you might have to get creative, but definitely think of ways to build that community. All right, so finally, metrics and analytics. You can't know what to do in terms of content without knowing what works and what doesn't. So all of these networks are going to be adding features that allow you to track performance. And so is Denim Social, as Taylor mentioned. So being able to see, soon enough how your performance across networks does all in our platform will be a really great resource for you. And then using this for any social media skeptics you might know, it's such a great way to show them how activity on social directly translates into sales and other kinds of measurables.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for all of this, wherever you're considering any of these elements, keep in mind your omnichannel strategy. Customers more and more expect a hybrid approach. So just ensuring that this digital social media strategy is still aligning with who you are in your in-person traditional strategy.
Awesome. Thanks, Connor. So now that we've gotten a little bit of a rundown on what's going on in the specific networks, can you give us a quick glance at the best and worst times to post?
Sure. In general, the best time to post to any network is around midday, kind of lunchtime, and then also midweek. So just think about when people tend to be online and active. I would avoid weekends, barring special events or holidays, and certainly avoid posts going out late at night or really early in the morning. So in this graphic, we broke down a little bit more specifically how to handle scheduling for each network, because it can vary a little bit different based on the optimal times. But the great thing about using a social media management platform like Denim Social is you can schedule posts to go out literally anytime. So a lot of people set aside time on Monday, Friday to get everything scheduled for the week, or my personal preference is doing it on a daily basis, first thing, and then, it's done and taken care of.
Yeah, I do love that approach as well. We've got some customers that have all of 2022 scheduled out and maybe even into 2023 because they already know when certain holidays are going to be. So they've done that for the full year, and then they'll go in and fill in weekly or biweekly or whatever. So awesome. Thanks, Connor. All right. So earlier we did tease at a little thing our marketing team has been working on, and it's a quick reference for you to keep an informed and healthy social media feed. So a lot of you that have been with us for a while might remember the 411 strategy, but you guys all know, we've just talked about it for the last 30 minutes. Things change quick, and it's time to kind of phase in some new practices that you guys can start to implement. So first off, we'll talk content. I see a lot of customers and users feeds that only post branded content or only post industry content because it's easy. And something you have to remember is that all of those posts look very similar. So right now, look at your social media feeds. If you're scrolling through and the posts look identical and you can't tell them apart, that's a great way to know that you need to mix up your content. So the base of this informed and healthy social media feed strategy is content, making sure it's from a variety of sources. And it's not going to be a perfect formula like 411, but you're going to have to figure out what makes sense for your brand. So we all know that it should be a mix of industry, branded, and personalized content. And I can tell you right now, across platforms, if you only post brand or if you only post industry, that's going to be really boring for your audience. They're not going to engage because it all looks the same. So something to remember when you're using Denim Social is that we have our content collections, and these add industry content directly to your content library. Easy, it's right there. Then marketing teams should all be layering in branded content on top of that. So there's your industry and your brand. And then lastly, marketing teams and end users should be adding in that personalized content for their audience to keep it engaging, like branch events or professional updates like promotions or career wins, et cetera. The list goes on.
Yeah, and my personal approach, I kind of think there's this perfect trifecta of one, fun, entertaining content, two, educational content that's really adding value, and then three, information about your business, products, and services. So if you can strike the right balance with those three elements, you'll be golden for posts.
Totally. I love that. The next thing to layer in is making sure you're listening to conversations and trends. Are you staying up to date with what's happening in your industry? What are your customers interested in or saying? So if you spend some time every few days to get on social media or read articles and see what's going on, you're going to get some great ideas. And you're also going to feel like super plugged in. And even on top of that, if there's some crazy trends going around on social media, that can add some fun spark as long as you're checking with your compliance team and add some kind of texture to your content. Okay, and then the third thing, be flexible and adaptable while you're creating content and staying up to date. Remember that you can always pivot. I think it's Friends pivot. I don't remember, but just remember that what used to work for you might not work anymore. So, if you think about the last few years, so much has changed, and social media is the same way. It's always evolving. And so we have to keep an open mind when it comes to your approach, and make sure you're not restricted by old ways of doing things. That doesn't mean that you have to forget about your brand values, but you can create new ways to communicate those and really engage and connect with customers.
Right. And when you have those 3 steps nailed down, it is time for analyzing, measuring, tracking. So use those functions and features we've discussed and see how your content's doing. You can make some minor adjustments and see what a big difference that can make. You don't necessarily have to do a total overhaul of your strategy, but always be willing to kind of tweak things to make them a little bit better.
Love that, Connor. I have a question coming in, but I'm gonna wrap it up a little bit to summarize. We've gone through all of these trends for 2022 and best practices across Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And then we've also gone through some updated posting times and how you can create that healthy and informed feed. And we hope that you can take some or all of this information and implement it into your strategies. Again, we're going to send this out in an email later today or this week, and it'll have this webinar as well as some additional resources that you can print off or save to your desktop or whatever you like to do, and reference for later. So I'm going to open it up for questions. And the first one that I have is there any plan to add DE&I content to the Up content collection? That's a great recommendation. I think I would have to check with the product team, but that's definitely something that we can pass along to them. That's a great idea. Awesome. Something else somebody asked for the host was, what other kinds of personal content can I post? I can give that one a shot if you want. We've got a lot of customers that have some cool ideas. So something that I love that I've seen is when people take advantage of the national days. So think National Coffee Day, or National Dog Day is my favorite, or National, I think, Connor, wasn't there a National Compliments Day here a few days ago?
Yeah.
It was on our content calendar. So I feel like those are super low hanging fruit that you can like make a post for. So if it's National Dog Day, who doesn't love to see dogs on their feed? So you're like, hey, got my coworker in the office today, and it's a picture of your cute dog. Just makes you more human and more approachable. Love those. Another one I saw was a work-related meme about like coming in for like a mortgage one day, and I wish I had a visual for you guys, but just anything to make you seem more approachable and human is, and will be approved by compliance, is a yes in my book. I also mentioned the content calendar. Our marketing team did they put together a content calendar and shared it with, I think it was on our newsletter, Connor.
That's right.
And that has been super helpful to a lot of our customers. So if you haven't seen that yet, there's a whole list of days out there. So like I said, National Compliment Day, National Clean Off Your Desk Day, a lot of fun ones that you should definitely implement into your content strategy.
Yeah, and we'll share that again on social for anybody that missed it.
I love it.